Adventures Audiobooks presents Sylfana Greenvale, Episode 8, The Coming Storm. We resume journeying northward, following the road. A lot has been said during our encounter with that traveling merchant, and a lot has been left unsaid. I say, striding. That man had deeper concerns regarding that storm that he led on. Deeper concerns about us, too, when we met. Both he and the boy were on edge, yet I don't think he usually worries that much while traveling to Veen. The town did not have any guards, nor any semblance of fortifications or defenses. Sylfana nods.
You're right.
Such a deserted road would be a poor choice for bandits to prey upon. And regarding monsters, reports of creatures being sighted closer and closer to the road suggest that under normal circumstances, the roads are safe, and the monsters keep to themselves in the wilderness. Now, at least around these parts, and our own journey confirms that so far. The road has indeed been safe. We need to stay vigilant until we reach nightfall. There, we will finally be able to gather information.
I agree. Let's move quickly and keep our eyes open.
We march on for a while, the sound of rolling thunder slowly closing in, until the thick curtain of rain and mist eventually reaches us. Soon, we find ourselves moving in a bubble of grey nothingness, barely able to discern the shapes of the trees by the side of the road itself turning from dirt to mud as if it was a living thing. Sylfana gets closer to me, her hair wet with the rain and a worried expression on her face.
This is bad.
We could barely hear each other under the raging cacophony of environmental sounds. Eventually, the mist started to clear up enough for us to see a flicker of light in the distance between swaying trees. This is the last stretch for tonight, I say, pointing at the distant light. Sylfana nods.
Thank the divinities. We are almost there.
She walks faster, eager to reach shelter as the rain and thunder grow louder. We eventually reach a 2-story building by the side of the road, with wooden guardrails lining the opposite side of it. A short distance behind them, the abrupt edge of a cliff cuts the side of the hill. Clouds of mist below are hiding the true depth of the precipice. Next to the building is a small stable under which 3 horses stand, frightened. It sways on its 4 pillars under the forceful wind. Sylfana shudders as she looks at the horses.
They're frightened.
The smaller of the 3 horses stands at one end of the stable, a cart laid on the ground next to it. It looks similar to the old and tired horses that were pulling the merchant we encountered earlier. The 2 other beasts are looking much younger, healthier and bigger in stature, both mounted with sturdy leather saddles. The horses neigh and snort, shifting left to right, pulling on their tether. They are frightened, indeed. Their owners ought to be inside. We'll have company tonight. Sylfana gets closer to me, looking at the 2 other horses.
Let's go inside.
She opens the door and steps in. I follow her into the comforting light and warmth of the inn. The front door opens up onto a large dining area, lit by two big chandeliers hanging low from the ceiling, and a large fireplace on the wall facing us, next to which is a wide counter that seems to act as both the bar and the register, given the arrays of bottles and glasses displayed on the shelves behind it and the large keys nailed to that wall. Sitting at a table in the corner of the room are two men wearing worn-out leather armors. Sylfana takes a deep breath, relieved to be inside.
That feels better.
Closer to the center of the room, a young man, a woman, and a boy no older than 12 are gathered around a table, holding playing cards in their hands. Conversation ceased after we entered, and heads turned. I nod to the man in the corner, then to the family. On the floor next to both men lay a sword and a shield. They return the nod, their gaze stern and assessing. The couple nods back at me agreeably, although obviously uneasy, while the boy smiles and waves at us with cards in his hands. Sylfana waves back at the boy with a gentle smile.
Hello there.
I nod at the boy with a smile, then shift my gaze at his parents, still smiling in an attempt to break the tension. A door swings open behind the counter, and a bearded man wearing an apron walks in the room with two tankards of ale filled to the brim, heading in direction of the two men. They are still staring at us. The man quickly acknowledges our presence and greets us with a surprised smile.
Welcome, travelers. I'll be with you right away,
he says, dropping the tankards on their table. Sylfana smiles at the man, grateful for his greeting.
Thank you.
The man wipes his wet hands on the stained apron and walks towards us.
Nobody should be out with such a weather. You two are drenched,
he says, looking at the puddles of muddy water gathering at our feet.
I assume you are looking to spend the night here.
Sylfana nods.
We are indeed.
The man gestures for us to follow him as he walks towards the counter.
Then come on in.
He grabs a key behind the counter, then turns back to us as if he just remembered something.
I trust you took care of tethering your horses outside, right?
We have no horses. We came on foot, I replied.
On foot? But you must have been walking under that dreadful storm for hours.
He now looks at us with a mixture of surprise and pity, shaking his head slightly. Sylfana nods her head, her hair still wet from the rain.
Yes, we have been walking for hours.
A harsh day you had, but it ends with a hot meal next to the fireplace to warm yourselves up. It could be worse.
The innkeeper said jovially. It could be much worse indeed. We are well met this evening. A hot meal and a place to dry ourselves would be much appreciated, I say to the man. He smiles warmly at us before leaving the counter, key in hand.
Follow me. I'll show you to your room first.
Sylfana nods and follows the innkeeper.
Thank you for your kindness.
Remembering our night in Wien, I call for the innkeeper as he and Sylfana are starting to walk away. Sir, the innkeeper stops and turns towards me.
Yes?
He asked. We need 2 separate beds, if this is no trouble. The innkeeper gives me a confused look, glances at Sylfana and back at me. Sylfana glances at me, blushing.
Why, sure, of course.
He says, walking back behind the counter. He puts the key back on its nail and grabs another one.
Separate beds it is.
He leaves the counter once more. Thank you, I say, and start following him.